What is up, my brownie friends? It's Aisha and Shanique here. It's that time of year again for her back to school hairstyle. She's going to the 8th grade this year for 2018, and we are doing plus sign box braid. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing more on showing you how to accomplish the plus sign parts. Are you ready? Let's get it. I'm starting this hairstyle on freshly washed shampoo, deep conditioned, and blow dried hair. Before I add the weave to her hair, I'm going to make sure it's well moisturized with a water-based moisturizer, and I'm sealing that in with our very own Kissy Girl hair and body butter. I formulated this myself. It includes shea butter and 4 natural oils that are great not only for your skin, but are great nourishment for the hair. So I will be coating her hair with this butter before I style. To maintain a firm hold on her hair that's at the root, and also to help me make her parts perfect, I'm using Cream of Nature's Argan Oil Perfect Edges Extra Hold Gel. The first part I am making is from ear to ear, keeping in mind how long I want the bottom portion of her plus size to be. And once I make the part the first time, then I'm going to take the gel along the part, and the gel will help me make the part more precise. So I'm going to add the gel, then make my part more precise. And I'm also going to add the gel to her roots to make them close to her scalp. That helps to keep the hairstyle very neat, and you will see how that works going forward. Next, I'm going to make a straight part down, making our first square. Now, the size of this square and the size of the next square that I do is going to determine what size our first plus sign will be. So you want to kind of gauge the amount of hair you have and sort of divide it into 3 sections and determine how big you want your plus sign. You'll see what I mean as I go, but I'm keeping in mind the amount of hair I have in the rear and the size I want for the bottom section of her plus sign to be. So I'm going to make my first square. I'm going to add the gel as before. This will always be the process to make the part precise, and then I'm going to add my rubber band. Now I'm going to go over to the left side and make our square for the left side. Making this square is going to leave the hair in the middle. That's going to form the bottom portion of our first plus sign. So that's when I was saying to look at your hair and gauge how much you have so that you can kind of make your sections even, and you can determine what size your plus sign is going to be based on these 3 first squares that you make. So now I'm going to start parting out her hair to make the plus sign. I'm starting on the left side, and I'm going to try to make this square equal to the square on the bottom. So all of the squares in the plus sign are pretty much the same size, right? So I'm using the bottom square that we have already down from our first line as my gauge to the size that I'm going to draw out for my left side of the plus sign and my right side of the plus sign. And I want to make sure that the line that I'm using to make the top line on the plus sign for the left and right, that they both equal going straight across, that they line up. Now, your plus sign doesn't have to be perfect because all of mine are not going to be perfect, but you do want them to look like a plus sign. So first, I'm going to draw out my rough draft. Then what I'm going to do is twist her hair. Because she has so much hair, I'm twisting it tight so that I can see exactly how my plus sign is going to look in the rubber band. And then I'm going to add my gel, and I'm going to go ahead and make my parts precise for the plus sign. Then once I do that, I'll add the gel to the root to get the hair to lay down as flat as possible, and then add my rubber band. Once we get this first plus sign done, you will see to the left of it and to the right of it, it already creates the start that you can use to go ahead and start making the rest of your plus signs. So what we're going to do is just build off of the first one and work your way around. All of the plus signs are not going to come out even where all of the hair is going to be in a plus. You're going to have some vacant squares, if that makes sense, around the pluses, but you just have to work and make those as you go. So as you see, as I'm going through making her different plus signs, you'll see how they have turned out. So we're just going to complete this process by doing one plus sign at a time and building on each plus sign, doing our gel, making our parts precise, adding the gel to the root, then adding our rubber band. So I'm going to continue that all the way around until her whole head is parted out for her box braids. So you can see I have our second plus sign completed, and there is going to be one square right here by itself, which is what I was discussing earlier, and we're just going to make that into one braid individually by itself, and I'm just going to keep building all the way around. I want my plus signs to be large because I don't want to have a whole bunch of them in her head. I'm only aiming to have no more than 20 braids. So I'm making her plus signs kind of large. If you want smaller plus signs, then you're going to gauge your squares to be smaller. I always caution whenever you're using rubber bands to please make sure you do not put them on too tight. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you can see the scalp is pulling away from the head, or you see redness or bumps forming, the rubber band is too tight. It is not necessary to make the rubber bands very tight. If you use the gel around the root to make the hair lay down, you won't have to put the rubber bands on so tight. Please don't put the rubber bands on too tight. Although I was able to draw out a plus sign on this right side, I didn't quite like the little small piece of hair that's left right here at her ear. It was a little bit too small, so I decided not to go through with this plus sign, but just to make one square over here and make a partial plus sign up at the top. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in a minute, but for now I want to show you the additional plus that I've made on the opposite side and bring you all the way around to show you what I'm talking about when I said or showed you that I made this small square here and then the partial plus right here at the top. So sometimes it may not work out perfectly all the way. Just improvise as you go. If you need to make squares here or there versus making the whole plus sign, do that just as I did. When I got to this front section, I decided to divide it into 3 squares. I'm making the part straight down, and then I'm going to make a part going straight forward to her forehead to make this into 3 squares. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm all done parting her hair out for her box braids, and these are the results. I'm using 3 different types of Kanekalon hair. I will put the links to them below. The majority of it will be all black. I'm doing 2 of her braids with purple and black, and then 2 of her braids with this ombre purple and pink hair. I took each jumbo section of the Kanekalon hair and divided it into 3 equal sections. I tried to make my sections equal to the thickness of her natural hair so that I can just do the rubber band method and use her hair as the 3rd strand. I'm taking the Kanekalon hair and wrapping it around her rubber band and using her hair as my third strand and using the 2 strands on the Kanekalon hair to 3-strand braid her hair straight down. So I'm taking her hair, wrapping it around, and as you can see, I'm just using her hair as my 3rd strand and continuing down. If your child's hair isn't thick or isn't long, you just have to borrow from the Kanekalon hair. If you don't know how to borrow, let me know and I'll do a video showing you guys how you can braid down and just borrow hair to make the natural hair full and fit in with the weave. I'm going to repeat this step for all of her ponytails. This is called doing the rubber band method for box braids. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I will answer each and every one of them. Make sure you thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Thanks guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on our next video tutorial. Bye brownies. We are done with her back to school box braids. Her plus signs are in there, but they're kind of hidden with her hair. So you'll check it out on our YouTube channel probably in 2 weeks.